Hey everybody, it's Mike. It's Friday. It's October 13th, 2023. And yes, I'm supposed to be on a break, but I promised one of my listeners, John Black, that I would get some information out that he decoded. And what John decoded was the license plate on the album cover of Abbey Road. And of course, that plate is considered a Paul is Dead clue, and it's on the Volkswagen Beetle, and that license plate number is LMW28If. So John reached out to me and he said, "Hey Mike, I think I broke the code on the license plate." And he also believes that his deciphering of the plate and what it means is unique, meaning he hasn't seen it anyplace else or anybody else presenting it or talking about it. And after John showed me the results of his decoding, I thought to myself, well, you know what? This aligns with Billy's knack for anagrams and puzzles. So we're going to go through John's decode in a moment, but before we do, let's just talk a little bit about that license plate as a staple of the Paul is Dead conspiracy. Going back to when I first got into the conspiracy, which was back in the 1970s when I was a younger lad, the common explanation for the plate, at least that I was aware of at the time, was that the plate was saying that Paul would have been 28 years old if he had lived. Now, I know there are other explanations out there, but going back in time, that's what I remember. He would have been 28 if he had lived. So, Paul was born on June 18th, 1942. Abbey Road was released on September 26, 1969. And the date of September 26, 1969 regroups to the number 6. So, surprise, surprise, right? But here's the thing that was always a hitch for me. On September 26, 1969, the day that Abbey Road was released, Paul would have been 27 years, 3 months, and 9 days old. So, how does the 28 factor in? Because Paul would have been 28 on June 18, 1970, which is almost 9 months or 266 days after the release of Abbey Road. So I remember thinking to myself, should the plate have been LMW 27 if? So that was always a hang-up for me. Okay, but I'm just giving you some backdrop here because this is what I remember going way back when on the license plate. And then in the recent interview I did with Stacy, where she presented her research into Billy's ancestry, into his family tree, she decoded the plate this way based upon a whisper message contained in memoirs which focused on William de Percy, who was the founder of the powerful English House of Percy, which is on Billy's mother's side of the house. She believes his mother was Elizabeth Percy. So let's take a quick listen to Stacy's take on what the license plate could mean.
William de Percy. Now he arrived in England the year after the Norman invasion. So 1067, he arrives in England and becomes a feudal land baron. 1067, 900 years before Sergeant Pepper. And that brings up the line, it's the only whisper message that's written backwards. And it says, Monsieur, Monsieur, how about another one? That makes me think of the cover of Abbey Road. The license plate on that Volkswagen Beetle says LMW 28 if. Maybe it means Le Monsieur William. 2 plus 8 is 10. I is the 9th letter. F is the 6th letter. 1096. William de Percy died in 1096.
So you think the license plate on the Volkswagen on the cover of Abbey Road is a clue to William de Percy's death, the year of his death?
Yes, and that message says backwards. It says, Monsieur, Monsieur, how about another one? And of course, when he arrived in England, it was exactly 900 years before Sergeant Pepper came out.
So how about another one? Connect that dot for me, meaning what?
Another William. Here's another William. I don't know. Does he think he's reincarnated from William de Percy? How about another William anyway? 900 years later.
Okay, so that was Stacy's decode, a possibility. And I thought it was very interesting and very clever. Okay, so let's now move to slide number 3 and let's take a look at what John Black has decoded. Okay, so after John and I exchanged some emails, he sent me this graphic that you see on the right, which is decoding the license plate LMW28If. And in a moment, I'm going to step you through this. Now, before I do that, please note that John's graphic is copyrighted, so please respect the copyright. Okay, so let's take a look at how John decoded the license plate on the Abbey Road album. So as I mentioned, the license plate number is LMW28If. And what we're going to do is to break the plate down into 3 segments: LMW, the number 28, and then IF. So going up to bullet number 2, John's decode tells us that LMW represents Lady Madonna Wednesday. And if we look at the lyric in the song Lady Madonna, we know that that lyric is Wednesday morning, papers didn't come. Now moving to bullet number 3, an anagram for papers didn't come is PMCARTNE dies OPD. And OPD, for those of us that are into Paul is Dead conspiracy, is officially pronounced dead. Then in bullet number 4, what I did was to take the anagram and mark each letter's position with a number. So P would be in the number 1 position, M2, C3, A4, R5, T6, N7, E8, and then we have dies OPD. Okay, so we're going to get back to this in a moment. Then I have bullet number 5, and we're asking the question, well, what does the 28 mean? 28 is a clue that there are missing letters. So bullet number 6 is asking the question, well, what's missing? There's a C missing after the 2nd character, and there is a Y missing after the 8th character. So there's your 28. So with bullet number 7, what I did was to put a blue arrow above the 2nd and 8th positions. And that gets us to bullet number 8 and the IF. If you replace the missing characters, meaning the C and the Y, after the 2nd and 8th characters of PMCARTNE dies OPD, the license plate is telling us P. McCartney dies OPD. So the reason why John's decoding, as well as Stacy's, is so compelling to me is because, as I mentioned in the first slide, Billy loves puzzles and anagrams. And this comes across to me as something that is definitely up his alley and something he would do. So John, a fantastic job, and thank you for reaching out to me and allowing me to present your findings. And so with that, the comment section is open. Let us know what you think. You guys and gals have a great day, and we will talk soon. And thanks for listening.